Hi, and welcome to another cake decorating tutorial from Mrs. B Bakes. I'm Helen, and today I'm going to show you how to make this cute panda cake topper using some very basic tools. So here's what you'll need: some black fondant or sugar paste, some white fondant, some gum tragacanth or CMC to make the fondant dry harder, a toothpick or cocktail stick, a sharp knife and a ball tool. The ball tool isn't essential, so don't worry if you don't have one of those. Let's get started. First off, use the gum tragacanth or CMC, which you can get from any cake decorating supplies shop. Add it to your black fondant and knead it in well. Next, we'll do the same with the white fondant. This additive just helps the fondant dry harder, basically turning it into a modelling paste. It just means that you can make models without worrying about them going floppy. Again, this step isn't essential, but I would recommend it for making models. So first, take a tomato-sized piece of black fondant and roll it in between your palms. It's best to apply a light pressure. This just makes the fondant smooth and crease-free. Then place it on your mat and roll it into a fat sausage. Once you've done that, using your index and middle fingers, roll it some more, but separate your fingers as you go. And this will give you a more bulbous section in the middle and two little foot shapes at either end. And then you can bend the legs round and flatten the middle section a bit, and you've just created the panda's bottom and his legs. Next, take a pea-sized piece of white fondant, roll it into a little ball and cut it in half. Roll each half into a smooth ball, then flatten them into a circle on the mat. Place each one of these in the centre of the panda's feet, slightly towards the bottom, and then flatten them into his feet as much as you can. Now take another pea-sized piece of white, cut it in half, then cut each half into 3 equal pieces. Roll each piece into a tiny ball and place these, squashing as you go, above the larger circles, and these just make the little toe pads. Now, if you repeat this on the other foot, you have 2 little feet pads. Now moving on to the body, we need a piece of white fondant about the size of a golf ball, and roll it between your palms to get rid of any creases and marks. Once you've got a nice round shape, you can place it on the middle of the legs, the bulbous bit that we flattened before, and shape it to look like the panda's body. There you can see it just sits nicely on top of that flattened bit that we made. Now I've flattened the top slightly to make it easier to put the arms on. So to make the arms, take some more black fondant, probably slightly smaller than the piece we used for the legs. Remove any creases and then roll another little fat sausage. Again, using your 2 fingers as before, roll out the arms, leaving that bulbous section in the middle again. You might have to measure the arms against the body to check the length. Now I've made mine too short, so I'll roll them out a bit longer. And once you're happy with the arms, you can place them on the body and arrange them as you'd like them. Now, time to make the head. So take some more white fondant, about the same size as we used for the body, and roll it to smooth it. Now, just at this stage, I'm going to grab a cocktail stick. This is just going to help keep our panda stable. Insert the stick by twisting it down through the body. We twist it so it doesn't squash the body that we've already made. So twist it down. Mine's slightly too long, so I'll snap about 1 centimetre off the top. Measure the head against the body to check the size. I'm happy with that, but you can make the head bigger or smaller, it's up to you. Now with a grape-sized piece of white, we're going to make the snout of the panda. Basically, you need to form a soft diamond shape for the snout. So using both index fingers and thumbs, shape the snout between both sets. Now you can add it to the face and shape it until you're happy. Now take the non-cutting side of your knife and lightly press a vertical line up to where his nose will be, just to give the snout some more shape. And with a tiny bit of black, roll out and roll an oval shape and add this as his little nose. So next I'm going to use a ball tool for his eyes. This isn't essential, and I'm sure you could find something similar to use. The end of a brand new paintbrush or the end of your finger might work. But we're looking to indent 2 wells where the panda's eyes will go, just to stop them being too bulbous in the end. Once you've got those wells, take a pea-sized piece of black and cut it in half and roll it into balls. And then flatten them against the mat like we did with the pads of the feet. Now I'm going to place these in the hollows we just made and squash them in to fill the whole space. It just forms the black patches behind the panda's eyes. Now on top of that, take a smaller piece of white, cut it in half and roll it, and then semi-flatten it. So don't flatten it the whole way, and place it on top of the black. These are obviously the eyeballs. And finally for the eyes, a tiny ball of black will form the pupils. You can place those as you see fit. You could be looking up, sideways, down, forwards, however you want. For the ears, take a small grape-sized piece of black and cut it in half. Roll the two halves into balls and flatten them onto the mat. If you have a ball tool, use it to create a little central indentation. If not, just use your fingers as I'm doing here. Now I'm just going to cut off around 1/3 of each ear to create a flat side. That's the flat side that obviously will go against the head. I'm going to use a tiny bit of water on a brush to moisten the flat side. And that'll help the fondant stick to the head. So place that on the head and shape it until you're happy with it. Do the same with the other ear. And there you have the head. I find it helps to spike a guide hole into the bottom of the head before placing it on the body. So pop the head on, and there's your finished panda. I'm just going to use the end of a paintbrush to poke a little belly button on him for added cuteness. Again, it's not an essential step, it's entirely up to you, but it's a nice thing to do. Now try and leave him overnight to dry before placing him on your cake, if possible. And there he is, all finished. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. It really does mean the world to me. Thanks again. Bye.